Hello, hello. I'm Christy Forsyth. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what's going on with the collective energy, the astrology, all of the energies that are impacting and influencing us this week so that you can understand what it is that you're feeling, but also so that you can use this energy to your benefit, so that you can make the most of what is going on in the cosmos this week. So, how are you guys feeling, first of all? Because it's a lot. We are still very deep in retrograde season, lots of retrogrades that are happening right now. And that is an invitation for us to slow down, to go within, to reflect, to listen to ourselves. Are you finding that you guys are doing this? I think we tend to do it more naturally. You might feel a little bit more tired. You might feel like some things are just going wrong, some things are falling apart, some things are very challenging. And we are in this week, the last week of Mercury retrograde. We also have Saturn coming out of retrograde this week. And so we will talk about that. But I feel as though this week is kind of bringing everything to a head. It's bringing everything up to the surface. A lot is bubbling up to the surface right now. I think you're going to find a lot is bubbling to the surface this week. And so know that whatever is coming up, this is something that we're meant to learn from, heal, focus on, make changes around. It depends on the situation, right? But it's coming up for a reason, is my point. And it is calling for us to create some changes for ourselves so that we can move forward in a way that's lighter, that's better, that's a higher path. And so it's happening for us. But man, oh man, I'm hearing so many stories. I've had my own experiences during this retrograde where it's like there's a lot that seems to be falling apart. There's a lot that seems to be creating these challenges for us. And I'm watching things happen for people that are pretty major, right? They're pretty life-changing. So there's a lot of outward tower moments. So we're going to pull some tarot cards at the end of this reading. So there's a lot of outward tower moments where things feel like they're falling apart. But whenever it's a tower moment, it's a falling apart so that it can be put back together in a way that makes more sense, that is more sturdy, that has a better foundation underneath it, or is a better fit for us. So part of this is about trusting the process. And I talked about this the past few weeks, so you may want to go back and check out the most recent videos. By the way, I had so many views on my last week's video. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea. It means everything to me to see the views, to see the likes, to see the comments. So thank you. Keep going with that. I appreciate it so much. To share it with the people that need to hear these messages. So many important things that we're doing. And it's bigger than this week. It's bigger than this retrograde season. There is so much that is happening. This year we have been in Chinese astrology, the year of the snake. So shedding our skin, learning how to allow these changes to happen. It has been a 9-year as well, which is all about allowing cycles to come to a close. And what I want you to keep in mind is that we're closing out not just a year here as we end December, we're closing out a 9-year cycle. So we are closing out that time period from that 1 year that happened in 2017 to this time period now in 2019. So you don't want to just think about what's been going on for you the past few weeks. You want to think about what's been going on for me the past 9 years. Like, what have I been learning? What has been being developed within me? And I think that there's a lot of really beautiful opportunities to close out some cycles for good. So I think part of this energy is calling us to the carpet, and it's saying, it's asking for us to ask the question of, like, how does this version of me now want to show up in the world? What have I learned over the past 9 years, and am I in that place that I want to be, or do I need to make some changes in the ways that I'm showing up in the world? How do I need to show up differently for myself? How do I want to show up differently for other people that matter to me? How do I want to show up differently in my work, in my business, in my family, in my finances, in my habits, in my thoughts, whatever that looks like? But what have you learned, right? Like, now is the time to apply all of the things that we have been learning. And Barbara's saying, I'm doubting if I ever will be where I want to be. So that brings me to an important point in this energy, because I think that we're all in some ways feeling that. I've been feeling, I'll be honest with you guys, in this place of, in some ways, I mean, I continue to carry on. We always do, right? But I have felt defeated, deflated in some ways. And I've been saying, like, I feel like I've lost my sparkle a little bit. And so actually, in my meditation, when I was connecting with this stuff, I brought that up, and it was made very clear to me that that is a collective theme, but also that my sparkle is coming back, and so is yours. So I want you to keep that in mind, that, like, right now we're just doing some deep work. And by the way, we also never will be where we want to be, because what happens is we keep raising the bar. We keep moving the finish line, because we're built to be here to have desires, and because we're here to be creators. We're here to be co-creators. And so even when we do create something that we once really wanted, then we're on to the next thing. And that's a really beautiful thing. Yeah, deflated. You guys are agreeing. Yeah. And okay, so let's see. Keister, for you, saying, I'm ready to close out a lot and not sure if I learned much, except I feel I've gotten unfulfilled expectations. Okay. So with that, like, when we're looking at feeling like your expectations haven't been fulfilled, I think this is a good time to take a look at, where do I need to make some shifts? And I don't think necessarily with expectations, but are there some shifts that you might make? Like, is part of the lesson that you're learning in detachment, right? In detaching from a specific outcome, so that you can allow for God to step in, universe to step in, and bring something that, by the way, God's plan is always going to be better. So it's probably going to be better than what you had expected. Is it calling you back to your power as a co-creator and to give extra focus and attention on co-creation? Is it asking you to spend some time healing? This energy right now is very healing focused. It's very focused on coming back to our toolbox, right? Like, whatever tools work for you. And if you don't have those tools, by the way, I have in my membership so many tools, but one that I want to highlight is my nervous system regulation challenge that we did in there, because it gives you, I can't remember how many days it is now, like maybe it was like 50 days or something, 50 days worth of tools, different types of tools that you can use to help to regulate your nervous system. So, and that's $888 a month right now, or $88 for the year, because I have it in my holiday special. So anyway, so you could check that out at Clarity by Christy, or I have it in my links below. But like, this is a time for us to come back to those tools, whatever works for you. Like, I have been heavy on the tools. I feel a little boring, to be honest, but like, that's been my focus, is going within, meditating. I do so much breath work right now. I'm doing so many like affirmation rampages that I'm listening to reprogram my mind. I'm very focused on taking care of the things that I need to take care of. And one of the biggest things that I need to take care of is me. And I would guess that that's true for all of you. Like, when we're going into December is going to be a very you focused kind of month. So get ready for it, right? I'm very focused on movement and how that works. So like, those are just some of my tools, but what works for you? And you guys can put that in the comments below too, because you might inspire somebody else. But the other part of this energy is, like, this energy is about tying up loose ends. Okay. So things are happening for us to give us an opportunity to tie it up. And I called this something like tying it up in a nice, neat little bow, right? Like we are tying up not just this 3 weeks, not just this year, this 9 years, maybe even more than that, tying some things up. By the time that this week is over, you will feel like you have tied some things up, that you have closed out some cycles. And I'm not saying it's comfortable. I'm not saying you're even going to be excited about it, because you might be like, I don't know, Earth is hard. I don't know if I want to be here anymore, right? Like, but Earth is hard, but it's also really beautiful. And we get to be on this journey, and we get to experience all of this and to do some really incredible work to elevate our soul. And that's what all of this is about. So it's helpful. I find it helpful to take that step back and disconnect from this avatar, this person that I am, and just kind of look at, what are the lessons that I'm learning? What are the themes that keep showing up again and again and again? And what do I need to do differently in order to make this same theme not show up for me again and again and again? And I'll be honest with you, like I took some actions that were meant to break the cycle, and they did. It didn't get me exactly what I was looking for, but I also know that that's coming because I have broken the cycle and I am approaching things differently. And so that's a really beautiful thing. So I want you to think about, like, what are you feeling called to tie up right now? Is there a conversation that you need to have? Are there amends that need to be made? Do you need to make an apology to someone? Are you feeling like you need to take some kind of action? Because this energy right now is about going slowly. It's about going within. It's about reflecting and connecting with yourself, but it's also about paying attention to where you feel that clarity to take action. Because I think this is the week where clarity starts to hit a little bit more and you start to go, oh, okay. And again, like you might know what you need to do and you might not like it, but part of this is about trusting in the higher plan for us. And if we're being led to do it, that means that there is a higher plan with that, so that we can, when we do this work, allow ourselves to show up as that version of ourselves that we now are, that we now want to be. We are very different. I know, like Barbara was saying, like she doesn't feel that different, or that she doesn't feel like she'll ever be where she wants to be. But you are very different. I want you to look back to 2017 to now. Like a lot has shifted, a lot has changed, a lot has developed within you, and that's important. Now, I also want to highlight, so we've been in Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is coming out of retrograde this week on the 29th. So keep that in mind, that like right now, these things are coming up. Keister is saying, I'm ready for an aha moment. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of those. But you know what? I think there's also a lot in our heads of coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? And instead of coulda, shoulda, woulda, I want you to learn the lesson that you're meant to take away from it and then move forward. And that's easier said than done. I get that. But we do not want to be spending too much time on that. Like ask, what's the lesson here? What am I meant to be learning? Show me the way. So we have Mercury going direct this week. So that's going to help to lighten this energy up a little bit on the 29th and on that, but we still will be in that post shadow for a little while. So you might still be feeling issues with communication and things going wrong and technology glitches and all kinds of things. So keep that in mind. You're still going to have things bubbling to the surface. And also on the 27th, we have Saturn going direct. And I think that this is going to be really helpful because Saturn for me is like tests from the universe. So with that in retrograde, I think we've been getting the same tests over and over and over again. And it's like, are you going to learn the lesson or not? Are you going to pass the test or not? And so we've kind of been in that. And so there might be a final exam this week. There might be like this opportunity to do something different. And you might see it so clearly. You might go, oh, this is what Christy was talking about. This is my opportunity to break the cycle, to do it differently, to shake it up. And again, it'll probably be different from how you've been doing things. So it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? I want you to trust yourself. I want you to trust your intuition. And know that there are going to be these aha moments that are happening, especially as these planets come out. We're going to start to connect with more clarity on things. And it's good. So I think it was in retrograde since July. So just reflecting back to July specifically, like, what have I been learning? What has been the theme that has been showing up in my world? Like, this is all just an illusion. Right. And so I want you to kind of look at it like that. So if this was a movie, if this is a story, like, what's been going on in the story? What are the key themes in the story? And what do I want to do? Like, how do I want this main character to approach life moving forward? And I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to show up for ourselves better. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to show up better for other people if we're willing to take a look at that, and maybe where there needs to be some changes with that. And we also don't want to be holding on to anything really tightly right now. So let whatever wants to fall away. I had this thing happen, not even to me, but to somebody that matters a lot to me. And I was like pissed, like furious, right? But I also recognize, like, that it's something in that person's life that needed to fall away, that needed to shift, that needed to change, that I think for her in the long term, like, that's going to be a big deal, a really beautiful thing. So try not to get too lost in all of this. It's really easy to get lost in your head. It's really easy to get lost in the moment. But I also want to say, like, when we're talking about tying up loose ends, I've been talking about these opportunities for second chances. And I think that there's a lot of those that are happening. And I think a lot of those will be happening this week. And also a way to, like, revisit some ideas that you have had in the past that all of a sudden are coming back up again. I have something that I'm working on that I'm really excited about that has not been on my radar for a little while. And in fact, I was not sure how I was going to make it happen. And so I said, God, if this is meant for me, show me how it can happen. And I started to get these visions of how it can happen. Like, and it's different than I expected, a different way than I expected I was going to be doing it, but I actually kind of love it and it makes sense. And I actually had to move out of the vision that I had for that to be able to see this, but we're revisiting old ideas. And that's what that was for me. So I think that we have that. And there's also, like, this energy of, like, these things that we've been meaning to get to, trying to get to, wanting to work on, wanting to do better at, wanting to grow at, whatever that looks like. And I think this week we're coming back to some of that stuff. And this is what some of these loose ends are. Like, it's exploring that. It's finally getting to that. It's all of that. Barbara's saying, I'm definitely not visiting past relationships. That didn't end well. Okay. So if it didn't end well, number one, like, is there need for conversation, whatever. But if not, what did you learn from that? I'm a big believer that relationships are the greatest teachers we will ever have. And those people that have been the worst are really beautiful teachers for us in some ways. Like, you learn a lot in that process. I'm not saying you don't have trauma from it, but you learn a lot from that. And so I try to look at everything like it's a lesson. And so you might be revisiting past relationships, not by having communication with someone, because definitely Mercury retrograde can be connecting with people from the past, but it can be reflecting on that and giving yourself what you need. I said that last week. I feel like some of these, like, there is a call for a lot of important conversations to have, but you know what? Everyone has free will, and sometimes these important conversations aren't happening. So at the end of the day, can you have that conversation with yourself? Can you give yourself that thing that you're needing? Can you coach yourself through that, talk yourself through that, and challenge some of your thinking around that situation? I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that we're healing right now. And So as I was saying too, I do have some availability in my schedule next week. So if that's something that you guys are really wanting to go deeper with, we can definitely set that up. I don't have a lot, but I have a few openings. So this is a time I try to leave some openings in my schedule during times like this because it just is a lot. And this is so much bigger than just what's happening now. So my point is with all of this is watch for the opportunities to tie up loose ends, to close out cycles, to let go of things, to redo things if you need to redo things, to revisit things if you need to revisit them, to have a second chance on something, to initiate a second chance on something. Kathy's saying she's been decluttering. I think that's a big thing in growing your business in inspiring ways. I love it. Yeah. And I should mention that because I think that there are a lot of things that people are doing right now that are very big and inspiring and amazing and beautiful. Like the cards that we pulled last week were incredible, and we'll see what we pull for this week. But I think a lot of this is big and good and exciting as well. These things that we're getting clarity on and that we're feeling called to move forward with. So there's a lot of good amongst all of this work that we're doing as well. And so we want to look for that and we want to focus on that also and let it show us what we need to be working on, focusing on. And Keister, you saying, thank you for sharing this. I think sometimes we stand in our own way. Oh yeah, we stand in our own way or in our own way all the time. I do it all the time. I'm sure you guys do it all the time. It's working on ourselves is hard. Change is hard. And to be willing to change and to not try to hold on to the vision of what you thought things were going to be, what you thought that you wanted, to trust the process, to let yourself surrender. This is not easy stuff. And to be willing to look at yourself and say, what do I need to change? What do I need to work on? Because it's really easy to point out how other people need to be different. But we also hold some accountability in terms of how am I showing up in these situations and what could I shift? Because we don't have power over other people, but we have power over ourselves. What can I shift within myself that I can show up better the next time or show up differently the next time, that I can show up better for myself the next time? Because a lot of this is about we're abandoning ourselves in a lot of situations. So can you learn from that? And can you say, yeah, I abandoned myself, but you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I don't do that anymore. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, but it's big, it's grand work. There's a lot that's happening and we're letting go of a lot. So we might be decluttering. Kathy, I'm decluttering too. I'm letting go of a lot of physical stuff. And that feels really good. I just feel like that's part of my work right now is taking care of that and letting that go. So we might be letting go of people, places, things, whatever. We might be renegotiating with people. There's so many different options here. So yeah, I'm not good at change either. I see you guys talking about change. I'm not good at change either. I'm a Taurus. I'm a stubborn bull when it comes to that. And Uranus has been in my sign for a very long time, and it just came back into my sign. It will move out in March. But if you're a Taurus, that's what's been going on for a long time. It's not been easy, but it's been really beautiful because what I've learned at the end of the day through all of this is every single time I choose to surrender, that's when the magic happens. When I say, you know what, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what else to do, because usually it takes me getting to that point before I actually surrender it. And then I surrender it and really good shit happens. So keep that in mind. She says she still has an AOL email address. Actually, one of my emails is an AOL email address too, but I got you. Yeah. And sometimes there's comfort in what's known, but also, have you ever been led into situations that were unknown and you're so grateful for that? And so part of this might be allowing ourselves to be vulnerable too and open to new, different, to flow, to peace, to connection. Maybe we've been blocking out connection in some ways, that self-sabotage, right? But maybe part of the changing the cycle is in opening more. rather than shutting down. Maybe it's letting ourselves be more vulnerable. And I get it. It's scary. We can get hurt, but I kind of like operate from the mindset that we get hurt either way. Like, I think it's a funny thing that we say to ourselves, oh, I don't want to be vulnerable because I don't want to be hurt. But like, we end up hurt either way sometimes. And I think at least if there's a vulnerability, it allows us to connect on a deeper level. And you get to have an experience through that maybe lasts for forever, and maybe lasts for a season in your life that you're meant to experience. So anyway, let's take a look at the cards that we pulled, and we will talk about those. Thank you guys for being so engaged today, by the way. I appreciate that. First card out of the deck, the Sun. We're so good. Like, there's so much good that is happening, but this is also like the sun coming out after the moon. This is understanding ourselves, our path, what we need to do. This is that clarity coming to the surface. And it's also like, I feel like a little bit of that return to our spark, that feeling a little bit more ourselves again. So I think we have things to look forward to. And I think it's like finding the things that we're excited about, finding the things that we have gratitude for, finding the sun in our lives, even if like there are things that are happening that you're like, I don't like the way this is happening for me. Three of Cups. There are things worth celebrating. We have Thanksgiving this week. You might be coming together with people that are important to you. Cherish those moments. Be present, right? We can focus on what's going wrong, but can we like just be present and say, oh, like there are so many things that are happening now that someday we will miss. And so can we be fully present and just enjoy the people, the circumstances that we are surrounded by? Because while there are challenges, there is a lot of good. Like, that almost makes me feel like crying, because like there's so much that's beautiful here too. But here we are, we're in our heads. 9 of Swords. Sleepless nights, worrying. So try to redirect it. Try not to get too caught up in it, right? It's meant to bring things, this energy is meant to bring things to your awareness. It's not meant for it to live rent-free in your head. It's not meant for it to just shoulda, coulda, woulda over and over and over and again in your head. It's meant to teach you something and to allow you to move forward. And a lot of times, by the way, when we worry about things, either we can't do anything about them. And so if you can't do anything about it, it's best to do your best to surrender it and let it go. Or when we worry, it can help us to problem solve. It can help us to come up with a solution to the situation. So it's a good question to ask yourself, is there anything that I can do about this? And if the answer to that is yes, when you have that clarity, it's a good time for you to connect with that answer. The next card we have here is the Hermit in reverse. Okay, so we've been very much in this Hermit energy. And this is saying, get ready to come out. Get ready to connect with your sparkle. Part of like the Hermit, see how he's got that lantern? He's got that star there in the lantern. He's connecting with his sparkle. That's part of what he's doing. He may not call it his sparkle, but that's what I'm calling it. He's connecting with his inner light by going within. And that's what we've been doing, right? So I think like we come out of this connected to our inner light. We come out of this not feeling defeated, not feeling deflated, but feeling a readiness to move forward. Now, you might feel a little gun shy. You might feel a little overwhelmed still. We're still working through big stuff, but I don't know. It's like we're like peeking our head out a little bit, especially as we get closer to the end of the week. And we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So this, to me, the 8 of Pentacles can be about putting out a lot of work, right? Like creating a lot, in putting a lot of energy into something. And we may be doing that, but I think like the reason that this is showing up in reverse is because the work that we're doing is work on ourselves. And that is the important work right now. to make that the focus. And if you can make that the focus and the priority, everything else is going to fall into place. The insights will come in. The inspired action that you need to take will come in. The clarity that you're looking for will come in. So don't hesitate to do that. And don't hesitate to work on something as you feel called to do that, right? To develop something within yourself, whatever this looks like for us. And then the last card that we have here. Are you kidding me? I don't see these cards in advance, right? I just shuffle them and I pull from the top. So we have the Sun card at the beginning, the Empress card at the end. There's real healing that is happening here. And part of the healing is in knowing our worth, knowing our value, and understanding what it is that we bring to the table. Maybe part of the lesson has been that you raised the bar with the universe. And when you raise the bar with the universe will rise to meet it, right? When you raise your standards, I think that's a lot of what this has been. And it might be raising standards with yourself. It might be raising standards with other people. But either way, there's a payoff. Maybe it's both. There's a payoff. She lives a very happy, abundant life. She's very magnetic. And so by focusing on taking really good care of ourselves, we become more magnetic. We call in higher vibrational, higher frequency experiences. And that's where all the good stuff is. Those are all the things that you actually want to manifest in your life. So be willing to trust the process so that you know that you're creating the space and the energy that you need to be so magnetic for all of the things that you've been waiting on, whatever that looks like for you. So a lot of work. This is going to look very different for all of you. Please feel free to jump in and share with me. You guys have been so great. Thank you for the people who are live. Thank you so much for being a big part of the conversation today. Please jump in on the conversation if you're watching the replay. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube, please do so now. I am going to be sharing some more videos, but also just so you can catch these videos and catch all of the other stuff that I'm sharing. So thank you so much. I love you all. I'm wishing you the most incredible Thanksgiving. Let it be a day that you just are present and that you find the good and you find the light and you find your people and you lean into that. And I understand that's not something, not everybody has great things happening right now. And I understand that, but I hope if it's not other people that are showing up for you, I hope that it's you that's showing up for you. And I hope that you bring gifts and blessings for yourself. I love you all. I will see you soon. Take care.